Hello everyone, welcome back to Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo and we are bringing you truth without compromise for the family. This is Resurrecting Manhood. Today in this segment we're talking about the Catholic man as an apostle of Jesus Christ. And we know that means for us to be an apostle for the Catholic Church. And so I ask you, are you on fire for the faith? Do you care about the wretched condition that Holy Mother Church is in right now? Have you been faithful to the bride of Christ, or have you abandoned her in her time of need? Now don't get me wrong, you need to have your family in order first, but once you get your family straight, you need to get out there and win some souls for Christ. So ask your friend, what is it that you love? Do you love money, eating, sports, leisure, business? You know, we could tell the things that we love by what we get excited about, what we talk about. And this spreading of the faith isn't just for the priests and religious and the bishops. Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen back in 1972, and this is an archbishop who is up for canonization from the United States, said this, and he asked a question, who's going to save the church? Well, the church is, in need. Not our bishops and religious, it is you, the people, the laity. You have the minds, the eyes, the ears to save the church. Your mission is to see that your priests act as priests, your bishops like bishops, and your religious like religious. So I ask you to look around, men. We have a lot of work cut out for us. And as far as lay involvement in the church and the spreading of the faith, who's doing the bulk of it? It's the women. They're in the positions of leadership in many parts of the church. And actually I had a Facebook conversation about that last week. When somebody was talking about all of the emotional expressions in the church today. We're so worried about hurting people's feelings instead of saving their souls. That's what we really need to be concerned about. And I said that's because of the feminist influence in the church and all the females involved in it. And her take on it was, one lady's take on that was, well, that's because of men, weak men, and the void that they have left in those positions of leadership, so women run on into them. And I say, I'm not so sure about that, because I don't know how quickly they're going to cede those positions and those interests as men approach to take them over and to get involved with them. But let's take their word for it. Let's get involved. Let's do something. Let's be generous with our time and with our efforts and actually make a commitment to it. Because this is the new evangelization that St. John Paul II was talking about during the last pontificate. At the beginning of the last century, he issued a document, an apostolic letter, and it's called The Beginning of the Third Millennium, issued on January 6, 2001. And that document is actually issued to bishops, clergy, and lay faithful. Over in paragraph 40, St. John Paul II says, over the years I have repeated the summons to the new evangelization. I do so again now, especially in order to insist, not recommend, not suggest, insist that we must rekindle in ourselves the impetus of the beginnings and allow ourselves to be filled with the order of the apostolic preaching which followed the Pentecost. We must revive in ourselves the burning conviction of Paul, who cried out, "Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel." This passion will not fail to stir in the church a new sense of mission, which cannot be left to a group of specialists, but must involve the responsibility of all members of the people of God. Go further down, we shall address adults, families, young people, children, without ever hiding the most radical demands of the gospel message. In making these recommendations, I am thinking especially of the pastoral care of young people. And so much of what we talk about here at Fix the Family, the issues that face families, there's our concern right there for the young people, for the kids, and how they're impacted by these family issues and family problems. So we say truth without compromise. We don't back away from the demands of the gospel, even the most radical ones. And we're not specialists, we're dads trying to make a difference. Catholic dads plugged in who have the experience of family leadership ourselves. It's not specialists who are the priests or religious or those with the degrees or with the licenses, but those actually in the trenches, actually living the Catholic lifestyle. So this could be it has such a dynamic expression to it. We can have a multiplier effect. We talk about passing on the faith and perpetuating the faith, passing it down to our children, having a large family, passing the faith on to our children and them to their children. But what if God used us in the conversion or the activation of another man at the head of his family? And God used us to get that man involved, and they brought it down into their children. The multiplier effect, what a wonderful work for God that would be. And God has used people in the past centuries and generations over and over to do that, and He's doing it again today. What a dynamic effect that it has for us and for the members of our own family, because it gives us that sense of mission, that sense of purpose, that there's something more important, there's something more to this life than the material possessions or the worldly pleasures that we experience, but that we are involved with something more permanent, more eternal, the perpetuation of the faith, the eternity of our souls, and that our children feel that and they see it and they take it on as their mission in life. They see it as something important. How do we want our kids to see us? Do we want them to see us at this point in church history where we are whining and moaning and complaining about the situation of the church, or about someone who was courageous, someone who was heroic, who took the bull by the horns and who did something to make a difference for the good of the church? We want our kids to see us as heroic and as courageous and as for standing for something. That is our role as apostles. Next time we're going to wrap up the series, we're going to talk about the Catholic man and his involvement in community here at Fix the Family. Come back and see us. My name is Raylin Alamo. God bless you.